Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are together with Bea Frisch. Bea Frisch is today in Shanghai at the Shanghai Autoshow. We are reporting live from Shanghai Autoshow, but we have also interviews which are very interesting and give us more insight into the Chinese automotive industry and our cooperation. So enjoy our emission. Good morning, Bea. Bea is with us. That is great. Bea is in Shanghai at the Auto Show. And Bea helps us and informs us today on the Auto Show in Shanghai. Bea Frisch is automotive lead of Accenture Interactive and partner of the Car Symposium in Bochum. Bea, tell us a little bit about Shanghai. Do you see a normal fair or fewer people than in the past with you and with the fair?
Hello, first, good morning from Shanghai to you, Ferdinand, and everybody. Well, yeah, I have to say Shanghai today greeted us with a very beautiful sunshine. And on the show, which started already, there were already the first press conferences. It's a lot of people. I feel like back to the normal car shows we had before. Well, I do one thing different. Usually, I would now wear my mask. So just for the beginning now, I will, because here in this area where I'm just walking are less people. So here I don't wear a mask, but I soon need to take it off because this is one of the reasons why we can have a car show here. Wearing masks, having our QR code scanned, negative C19 tests were necessary to come into the car show at all. You needed to register up front.
Okay, how it looks very normal compared to us in Germany and in Europe. We can have a public meeting like you have now at Shanghai. I guess the Chinese are very proud to have this Shanghai Automotive Show. How important is Shanghai for China, for the city of Shanghai, but also for the car industry in China?
Well, Shanghai is the location of a lot of manufacturers or even startups and other technical companies related to this. And the Shanghai Motor Show is, as it is every second year, in the even years, it's in Beijing. So these two shows are very, very important. And now I think they became even the biggest one, as the Frankfurt Motor Show is not at that format anymore. And everybody is here, really everybody. There are a lot of brands I've never heard about. So I'm just walking by Sihao. I've never heard about this brand, but that's quite normal because there are so many new startups and companies, additionally to the original 400 OEMs. So there are over 500 new NEV startups. They are, of course, not all on the show, but everybody is here. And of course, now, usually people were coming from the original countries, showing their products. But now this is, of course, it's mainly only the people here working and living in China. But they show everything. The booths are great. They're beautiful, with a lot of preparation and presentation coming in. So it shows the magnitude of this car show. And on the other side, that people are very proud, as you just said, to be able to do a car show because of the quite rigid regimen to handle the corona pandemic. So, and this is the only way why we can do it.
Yeah, so that's really great. So I wished I would be over there in Shanghai with you. So it's a big event for Mercedes today, the Shanghai Automotive Show, because they show the EQS, the most important car, of course, for Daimler, for Mercedes, and especially for the Chinese car market and Daimler in China. So let's have a look to that car and the strategy behind that car. So we have an interview with Mr. Droska, who is responsible in China for Mercedes and Daimler. We have Hubertus Droska with us. Hubertus Droska is a member of the management board of the Daimler AG. He is responsible for the China activities of Daimler, and Hubertus Droska is also a member of the supervisory board of Daimler Truck AG. Mr. Droska, what are the most important Mercedes highlights at the Shanghai Auto Show?
2021, and that especially is visible in Auto Shanghai, is the year of the EQ. So we're going to show 3 new fully electric Mercedes-Benz EQ vehicles. 2 vehicles in the most important growing segment of compact SUVs, the EQA and the EQB. Obviously, the EQA is our entry-level vehicle and model for the compact luxury SUV, and the EQB is the vehicle for more family-oriented customers, which will be a 7-seater electric vehicle built in China. And then the third electric car we're showing in Shanghai is the EQS, the first full-size battery electric vehicle, very important for us in this important Chinese market. Then we have 2 other very important cars, the brand new C-Class long wheelbase produced in China. And you know, China is the biggest market for Maybach S-Class, so we're also launching in Shanghai the brand new, all new S-Class Maybach.
The new Mercedes EQS is a technology leader, prestigious luxury comfort, connectivity, design-driven, achieved by the large hyper screen, and the car has a range of more than 750 kilometers. How important is that car for China?
As you rightfully say, the EQS is a very important model for us. We are traditionally, both in the world and in China, clearly the market leader in the high end of the segment. S-Class and S-Class Maybach, we are the dominating player in China. Therefore, the EQS is a very important model. You mentioned it, a vehicle 5.2 meters long with more than 750 kilometers range and some cutting edge technology. You mentioned the hyperscreen, so 3 integrated big screens, OLED screens, and some other features that you will see like electric doors, rear axle steering, and some other high-tech features. So this is going to be an important statement of Mercedes-Benz in the high end of the market where we're traditionally at home. Of course, you will find all of the traditional Mercedes qualities of materials, craftsmanship in this vehicle at the high end of the market.
Battery electric vehicles, intelligent connected vehicles, autonomous driving. China will become one of the most important regions for technology and innovations. What does that mean for your business and your Mercedes strategy?
China is today the biggest car market of the world, the biggest luxury market of the world, and the biggest NEV market of the world. Therefore, clearly, the sheer size of the market is super attractive for new technologies and innovation. And given this size, we have many innovative new companies in China next to all the global players that want to be in China. Therefore, many new Chinese NEV players are also emerging, making inroads and actually establishing themselves very well in the Chinese market. On the same side, we have very strong Chinese internet companies with very efficient and very convenient product offerings for the customer. All this amounts to a super interesting market with new players. For us and our strategy, it means we're working with all the high-tech players in the Chinese market, both Chinese and domestic or foreign, and we're also working with many startups to capture those innovative spirits and those innovative trends, new suppliers in the Chinese market, both for China and the world. It also means that we're putting more capacities and capabilities of R&D into the Chinese market. Our team has grown or has tripled over the last years to more than 1,000 engineers in those areas of advanced engineering, autonomous connectivity, but also some of the key driving features. So we're expanding our R&D base here in China. And last but not least, obviously also the production footprint is growing. As you know, 3/4 of all of our production or all of our sales are actually built in China. So in Beijing, we have the biggest Mercedes plant in the world. And this is another step of being even more local and growing in this important market.
Mercedes-Benz is focusing on its traditional strength as a luxury brand. Chinese car buyers are becoming more sophisticated and more discerning when it comes to selecting a premium auto brand. How would you describe the Chinese premium car buyer?
That's an excellent question. Actually, I live 8 years in China now. I'm fascinated with these young Chinese buyers. The average age of a Mercedes buyer is 36 years old. That's almost 20 years younger than in our traditional Western markets. They're very tax savvy. They like technological innovation. They like quality. They appreciate good design, and they love connectivity. 1/3 of our customers are actually first-time buyers. So for 1/3 of our customers, it's the first car in their life. So they come with a lot of ambition and high expectations, rightfully so, to the premium brands and their services. And there's also some special requirements. I think you might have heard that we offer vehicles with longer wheelbases. Actually, many Chinese premium consumers use the cars for both private and business use, which means actually they take their customers in their cars, they pick them up, they send them off, which leads to higher usage of the rear seats than we're used to in the Western markets. And therefore, this has led to some unique product offerings in China that you don't find in other parts of the world. We have longer wheelbases, not only for S-Class, that's standard in the world, but for E-Class, for C-Class, even for A sedan, even for GLC, with more comfort and some technology features for our customers in China. It is a very unique market, fascinating to see how they love good premium brands and how they accept very good products.
Over the last years, Mercedes has reached a leading position in premium cars in China. What are your key success factors for reaching that position?
Indeed, our market position in 2013 was very different. We were way behind expectation and honestly also way behind our most important competitors. I think looking at today, where we have a very solid market position, the biggest levers for success have been, and it all starts with understanding and respecting Chinese customers. Over the time, and I've just made reference to some of the key requirements of Chinese customers, to understand those and put those into fascinating products is the number one requirement. The second one, of course, was a good collaboration with our Chinese partners. Very important in China, and I think over the years we've grown together very strong. Number three, more local R&D and obviously a strong local footprint. From all the cars we sell in China, 75% are locally produced. We have the biggest Mercedes-Benz plant in the world in Beijing. So that's another very important factor. And the last but not least is clearly having a very good team of very talented Chinese and some international experts working together to serve those ambitious, demanding customer. I think those are the four most important factors for success of any company here.
So let us take a look into the future. How important will be China for Mercedes in about 10 years? That means about 2030.
We can clearly say today, China is by far the biggest and most important market for Mercedes-Benz in the world. Actually, the growth of China has been breathtaking. If you just look at 2019, the premium market has grown by almost 10%. In 2020, the premium market grew again by 10%. As Mercedes, we've outgrown the market over the last 5 years. And last year, Mercedes-Benz, we sold 774,000 units in China. This is more than the number 2 and 3 markets in the world combined. And our growth last year was 12% almost. So coming to your question, I do think China has the biggest potential for further growth in the next 10 years. And I do believe it's fairly safe to say that also in 2030, China should be by far the biggest car and premium market in the world. It's definitely the right place to be if you're a car guy.
Mr. Droska, thank you very much for that insight into your strategy, into the Chinese car market, and your highlights at the Shanghai Auto Show. We appreciate very, very much to have you with us in our discussion. Thank you. So we have seen the picture of the EQS, a very important car from Mercedes, and the EQS had a wide interior. That's very nice. However, you have to take care that's clean all the time you use the car. And there are new materials which help to make interiors in such a way that they are clean every day. And these new materials are made by a company called Stahl, and Stahl gives us now some input and insight into its material size and its interior development for cars.
Hello everybody, we are together with a supplier company. It's called Stahl, and they do specialty chemistry of coating, processing, treatments, and it's a great pleasure to have Alexander with us. Alexander Schika is responsible for the China business. Alexander, one first question: sustainability and CO2 reduction plays an important role for automotive industry. How can Stahl contribute to this development?
Thanks. The chemical industry in particular has a fundamental role to play in delivering innovations and safeguarding the well-being of future generations. Chemicals are the building blocks for low carbon, zero pollution, resource and energy efficient technologies, materials and products. You also mentioned CO2, which is the most common greenhouse gas. Decarbonization or defossilization is a main driver for us. Renewable feedstock means replacing the non-renewable carbon resources, such as oil, as feedstocks from the chemicals that we use. Stahl is one of the 11 leading companies that founded the Renewable Carbon Initiative in September 2020 under the leadership of the Nova Institute. The aim of this initiative is to create awareness of the need to transition from fossil carbon to renewable carbon for all organic chemicals and materials. So to answer your question with 2 bullet points: sustainable development and renewable feedstocks.
So you're optimizing solutions for interiors, for car interiors. How can interiors be improved by Stahl solutions? Could you give us, for example, 2 examples just to get a better image of that?
Indeed, as chemical company and surface experts, we are always focused to improve interior materials such as leather, synthetics, and also other new material variation. Here it's always important to balance the performance requirements with the design aspects, including the touch and feel. And of course, still keeping the increased environmental aspects in mind that we just discussed with the sustainable development and renewable feedstocks. But you asked for 2 examples. Do you remember the first time you saw an interior, a white interior in a concept car? I still remember how surprised and impressed I was when I saw this modern and brave design. But I also remember there was a big problem to keep the seat clean. And this was only for a short period of time during the car show. So to give you my first example, we have the so-called Stay Clean technology to increase cleanability and just make the surfaces stay clean, often also called anti-soiling. Meanwhile, we have the 3rd generation in place, and I'm sure more generations to come, always with a target to improve Stay Clean performance and keep this performance over the lifetime. I have one more example, and this is we, as a chemical supplier and surface expert, were thinking how we can contribute to weight savings. And the challenge was to be able to reduce weight, but keeps the nature of the material, having the desired touch and feel, fulfilling all the performance specifications, and using at least the latest sustainable solution. This is my 2nd example, Starlight technology as solution for lightweight automotive leathers.
So less weight, but more emotion in the interiors as the issue. We are right at the Shanghai Auto Show, looking around, seeing all these new cars, and of course the interiors, which are very, very important, become more important. What exactly role does China play for Stahl? How important is that market for Stahl?
China is, as everyone knows, the biggest and fastest growing region for car consumption, but it's also important for new development and ideas. There are many new players today, and I'm sure even more important in the future. China also has the most critical performance requirements for air quality. We as chemical supplier have been leading the change from solvent-based to water-based coatings for decades. And Stahl is also proud to have been instrumental in delivering the already widespread usage of low and no VOC coatings in the material industry. Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm personally looking forward to see you next time in China again.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Okay, so we are together with Bea again, and she is now with Wuling. Wuling has the smallest EV which is sold in China. It's called Huangguang Mini EV. It's the most sold car over there, and really new. It will be also available as convertible. Bea, you are on the way to the convertible?
Yes, you want to see it? I just wanted to ask if you want to see it. By the way, it's called Macaron, so probably. So let's go over. It's a very beautiful...
Let's go over to the Mini. Yeah, the Mini EV, which is offered from Wuling, which is together with General Motors, is the most popular car. It's a low price car. The price in China equivalent to Europe is about 3,700 euros, and it will be imported. Plans for importation from a private importer are on the road, and they want to bring it to Germany, to Norway, possibly to France, and the starting price should be below 10,000 euros. And the range of that car is about 200 kilometers, the cheapest electric vehicle or car in Europe, if it will arrive over there. Now, we can see the convertible. Bea, tell us a little bit about that.
I think it's really sweet. It's, let's say, a very nice compact car. It's not definitely to go probably on very long rides. It is for two people. Seems to have a little bit of a booth and quite a pretty color, which they have overall for all these small cars. So I could see myself in this one driving to Shanghai, Beijing or Berlin.
Okay, so EVs and mini EVs are just one part of China, but China is also high-tech, really high-tech with autonomous driving and all those things. So we had made a small interview with your colleague John Wang about that. Now let's just look in that interview with John Wang.
So thank you very much, Stephen. It was great to have that insight from your side on the EV, but also on the general market development in China. So we see a lot of dynamics in China and looking for how to participate in that dynamic for the European car makers and suppliers. Let's go, John Wang, to you. We focused a lot on EVs and trends for customers. I think next big thing would be automatic driving and car software and all these things in China is very advanced in having this. I read some news about Shanghai that they launch more than 560 kilometer road test region in which companies can test its car in reality, how good software for automatic driving is going on. Can you tell us something more about that big test region?
Okay, thank you, Professor. Actually, together with a rapid increase in the new energy vehicles in China, and the development of ICV is the national strategy in China. And the term, the intelligent and connected vehicle has been established in official documents. That document is the draft strategy for innovation and the development of ICV, and which released in January 2018 by the National Development and Reform Commission. And according to the draft strategy, an ICV wrote a broad definition encompasses. The first one is the automated driving system. The second one is vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-everything communication. And the third thing is in-vehicle artificial intelligence, such as a voice, gesture, and motion recognition. And so by now, there are more than 20 testing pilots nationwide. And the huge potential attracts many players in the ICV industry, including the big internet giant company, technology companies, like some new type of tier 1 supplier, including LIDA and AI chipset suppliers, OEMs, and also the new EV makers. And very interestingly, there is a broad range of the firms active in the construction of ICVs in China. Whereas the companies specializing in the necessary components are very young. Most of them less of 5 years. And Accenture FutureMove also participate in Shanghai testing pilot last year as a technical enabler. And I believe the ICV will be developed rapidly in the next 5 years in China, and by following reasons. And the first one is strong government support on national and local level. The second is the advanced status of digital infrastructure in China. And the third thing is a very strong industry presence in connectivity technologies and internet-related value-added services, consumer services. And the last one is a high acceptance of innovative technologies adoptions by the end users. So that's make this will rapidly develop in the 5 years, next 5 years in China. And in 2020, and based on the information released by Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, and the connected vehicle penetration rate is 30% in China. And I believe in 2025, and we will achieve the goal that the ICV market will fully take shape. Almost 100% of new vehicles will be intelligent connected vehicles. And 5G V2X is introduced by them.
Very, very interesting. John, looking around at the automotive show in Shanghai, we see a lot of new products, mainly electric vehicles, full electric vehicles, some of the plug-in hybrids. What are the trends for the next 3 to 5 years in the EV industry, seeing all so many cars available now also on the stands on the automotive show in Shanghai?
Thank you, Professor. And as we are discussing, and the electrified is accelerating the mobility revolution all over the world, and is benefiting from connectivity, shared mobility, and autonomous driving. And in next 3 to 5 years, and those are some technologies, in my view, I believe will have a great impact on electric vehicle industry. And the number one will be the use of 5G technology. And 5G brings 3 new aspects to the table. The first one is the bigger communication channel to speed up the data transformation. And the second one is lower latency and to allow transport more responsive to the request from different sides, include the vehicles, infrastructure, and cloud. And the last thing is the ability to connect a lot more IoT devices at once, and for in-vehicle sensors and smart devices. And 5G technology will certainly facilitate the use of infrastructure and to support the development of electric vehicles and increase the electric vehicle connectivity, safety, and efficiency. And the number 2, I think, will be the use of a cloud technology. And along with the use of 5G and more data generated from a vehicle and could be collected and processed in real time. And the cloud technology will decrease the EV makers' IT cost and provide off-board computing environment to enable artificial intelligence and real-time decisions for the autonomous driving, and act as a centralized digital hub for different communication between V2V, V2I, and V2X, which will make the electric vehicle more automated and intelligent. And the number three, I think, will be the over-the-air technology. And through huge amounts of data come from vehicles and different sensors, and the OTA technologies could diagnose and update the software for different ECUs, IVI system, and other in-vehicle embedded system remotely, and always keep the software up to date. And this will make anything happen in the car in the future and increase the user experience significantly. Yeah, that's my view.
So thank you very, very much, John Wang and Stephen Say. We appreciate it very much to have you here with us to discuss all these trends we see on the Shanghai Automotive Show. It was interesting to see how fast China is going on into technology-driven automotive markets and systems. So thank you very much and see you next time.
Thank you, Professor.
Good morning, Mr. Che Chiang. Bear is with you, and it's great to see that Bosch, who has a long history in China, is with us. And I think you will explain a little bit your booth to Bear, what you have a new technology over there in Shanghai.
Yes, Professor. I can hear you. Well, first of all, welcome to Bosch's booth. And let me just bring you some highlight of our display this time. Our booth actually is divided in three areas. Number one, electrification. Number two, automation. And the third area is connectivity. These are the three mega trends that Bosch identified many years ago, and this is how we put our efforts. One thing, if you want me to summarize our booth in one word, is tomorrow is here. Because there's a lot of new technology, and what Bosch has been doing globally is how to make those cutting-edge technology into the today, into the reality. So I would like to highlight a couple key display here. For example, in our electrification area, we highlight our solution for the fuel cell. The fuel cell stack, which we display over here, is going to mass production in small volume later this year. Wow. Yeah. So we are not bring some.
Show us the fuel cell. We can't see
maybe
it
here
in Germany.
Can you hear? Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Yes.
Yes.
Do you see it?
This is the fuel cell stack. So our plant.
I see. Great. Yes.
Yes, going to produce this.
And that is most important. That is one of your most important things you show in Shanghai, because you use that for trucks, if I understand it right. Is that okay?
Yes, for commercial vehicle, yes. We believe for fuel cell, maybe first application will happen in the commercial vehicle side. And on the other side, you will see this. This actually is a fuel cell powertrain. Inside is the stack, and then you see all those tubing actually bring the air and also bring the all the kind of connections. So to me, I think it's a kind of an industry art. This is actually a piece of art. It's the first time we premiere in auto shows globally, which is a fuel cell solution in a integrated system. So I'm proud of that. Yes.
And you start to manufacture that? Do you want to manufacture that in the near time, or it's just a show design, show
as I said,
future.
as I said, later this year we will start to manufacturing the system in Wuxi. Maybe begin with small volume, but gradually we hope when the market is ready, we can produce the system here in China. Yes, yes,
Okay.
very good.
So that is your most important feature you showed this year at Shanghai. We know you have a lot of technologies, and Bear and we together, we had also an interview with your Chinese CEO of Bosch, and let's just hear what he is telling us about Bosch, about the future of Bosch in China, and of course the importance of China for Bosch.
We are very happy to have Bosch, the worldwide largest car supplier. With us is Dr. Xu Dongchun, which is Executive Vice President of China for Bosch in China. And Bosch has a long tradition in China. China is very important for Bosch, and therefore we look forward to that short discussion. How will Bosch allocate in the future investments in China? How important will become China, even more important for Bosch, if we look at investments for China compared to Western Europe by Bosch?
Hello, this is David Xu. I work for Bosch China. Yes, I think last year China was first hit by the COVID-19 virus. But then the recovery from March, April, May last year was wonderful. So the whole year end up, the automotive business was pretty well. And also China has been the first time becoming the biggest market for Bosch. So we placed a strategic role for Bosch Group right now. In total, Bosch has invested more than 50 billion RMB in China. We will continue to invest especially in new strategic fields like electrification, highly automated driving, and smart cabin, etc. Germany is still the headquarters for Bosch Group. It has outstanding competence in core technology fields. It will still be the powerhouse of technology and innovation. But Bosch China will continue to invest on the R&D for the projects and technology to meet the local requirements. At this moment, we have more than 7,800 R&D associates in 29 technical centers in China.
So what we see at the moment in the car industry worldwide basis is that semiconductor is a very, very tough issue. We are scarce in semiconductor. Well, I know Bosch has great knowledge in semiconductors. You are doing that in facilities in Reutlingen and in the future in Dresden. At the same time, China has decided to go into some kind of chip alliance to become more independent from semiconductor. Could you see some semiconductor facilities of Bosch in China in the future? Are you planning to invest in that big business in China?
Yes, right now the whole China is suffering from the chip shortage issues, and the government is paying a lot of attention to encourage the investment in the semiconductor localization, especially in China. I think this has become a national strategy right now. And we have kind of defined the China local go-to-market strategy and for the semiconductor product. Bosch China will build up a local application and system level competence, expand the product portfolio, which meets the needs and the focus of local customers. With our unique selling point and also the competence in bell die and packaging. Bosch is also evaluating opportunities and seeking potential partnership with local players on module assembly and business model collaboration to accelerate, for example, the SiC sales with strong market pool.
So next to semiconductors is the technology leadership, which China wants to come up in the next 10, 15 years, and automated driving and robot cars is a major issue, especially in China for the market. Now we have the Shanghai Auto Show. Do you show specific products or services at this show in this field of automatic driving and robot cars? What are your major strategy in that important market segment?
Yes, if you're looking at the overall market of China, the development of highly automated driving is booming right now. And we see many IT companies working on that, traditional OEM working on that, and also a lot of the startup companies working on automated driving technology. And also for China, there's something might be unique. I mean, one thing we are talking about infrastructure supported highly automated driving, because the infrastructure built up, it's a unique characteristics of China, and the government is pushing for that direction. So in this coming Shanghai Auto Show, I think we are going to provide some demonstration. First is Bosch system solution and automated driving for passenger car and commercial vehicle. Is enabled by our domain computer called DASI. Also, along with the multi-purpose camera, corner, front, and rear radar sensors, and the interior monitoring system. So this one we're going to demonstrate a whole system solution to the audience. And at the same time, we're going to demonstrate Bosch's advanced level 4. We call it AVP. This means automated valet parking system solution. So from level 2 plus to level 3, level 4, and we are going to demonstrate the strengths of Bosch, and then trying to see how we can really make a great business in these all related fields. And in the same time, we try to enhance regional collaboration and then speed up the solution validation through multiple demo zone projects. In China, you know, there are more than 20 cities. They created a demo zone. So we also started several projects in those areas, trying to demonstrate that all these, we call it intelligent connected vehicle solutions. That's what we are doing.
So with all this artificial intelligence, robot cars, automatic driving, the sensors and the total things which put together, we see more and more that the structure, the IT structure of the car is changing, the structure is changing, car makers use more and more a central computing unit for steering all the different devices in the car. Bosch has set up some kind of cross-domain computing solutions. How important is that field for you, and do you have first customers for that new area, or have first products for that area of the cross-domain computing solutions?
Yes, I think Bosch, we call it the cross-domain computing solution division. We have set up a stepwise strategy regarding, for example, infotainment domain controller with hardware plus solution and local convergence platform as focus of short and mid-term. Our first project and customer includes our convergence solution using the Qualcomm the chip called SoC 8155. This has been accepted by the leading Chinese OEM, and the business model is collaboration with a startup company called Autolink. So we're trying to find a partner which is quick and efficient in certain application, especially regarding the ecosystem, bring those into the vehicle. Plus Bosch's strengths in the control board, and then the new generation of chips. So we combine the strengths of Bosch with some local company trying to attack this field. And also last year we set up a Bosch China Innovation and Software Center, which aims to provide local for local software solution as enablers for local mobility strategic topics. And this has already achieved great progress in 2020. And we hired several hundred of software engineers already in China, for China. And this will have the further expansion has already been planned. So we're going to go along this path by providing local software capability and supporting our strategic projects in China.
So thank you very much, Tekun, for this great insight into your strategy, into your new products, into the market of China. We appreciate very, very much to have you with us to this short discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's my pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks.
again. Bear, you at the booth of BAIC, Beijing Automotive Industry Group. It's the largest partner, the joint venture partner of Mercedes, and they run the biggest manufacturing site in the world of Mercedes. And it's great to see you together with Darren Guo, who is responsible for Nürnberg Messe. Please give us an insight. Nürnberg Messe and Beijing and Shanghai Auto Show. What is the difference? What do you feel?
Sure. So, Darren, thank you very much for being with us. There are some questions we have because it's related to the trade fair business, which is in China, of course, very, very big. But Germany is very experienced at that. I think even trade fairs were kind of invented in Germany. And Nürnberg Messe, so what is the role of Nürnberg Messe here in the Shanghai car show?
We are cooperating for the first time with ES Automotive to bring a digital, actually, first insights information from the Auto Shanghai 2021.
Wow, good. Do you know how do you see the overall trade fair business in China? Is there a difference between the business in China and in Germany? What is the main reason or the main differentiator?
The main differentiator is obviously that the trade fair business in China is thriving again, while the rest of the world is still under lockdown and waiting to open up again, while Shanghai is already working pretty well.
Right, that's right. We see the paper here. But overall, if you would say from your experience since 2015, you're
Yes.
here, right? Yeah. So overall, what is the difference, the main difference between trade fair business in China and in Germany?
The main difference is that there are many, but especially in Shanghai, it's one of the most important exhibition destinations. Many platforms are taking place in 1 year. And especially the flexibility of the procedures of organizing and the result orientation, organized exhibitor-wise and visitor-wise, is very impressive.
Yeah. So this is the difference between, let's say, China and Germany. But what about, because the car show, the big car show, is 1 year is in Beijing and the other year, so even years in Beijing, odd years as this year in Shanghai. Is there a difference between Shanghai and Beijing?
Beijing as the political center of China, and Shanghai as obviously the gate to the world. In China is have a clear distinguish between Shanghai and Beijing. But this year we expect a much larger version edition in Shanghai.
Okay. So I think I heard something like 1 million visitors here as well.
That's what we do expect.
That's a lot. Wow.
In Corona times.
Yeah. And one last thing, because I think that is very important as well, going forward internationally, from let's say from the Nürnberg Messe perspective or from China perspective, I know that you speak German, you speak English, you speak Mandarin Chinese, and you speak Shanghai dialect. So 我们现在可以继续用中文的说吗？
可以。
So is that 那个是在中国有什么一个好处，或者如果你看现在是一个国际的活动，那个有什么好处？具体给你自己的。
语言是打造桥梁的非常重要的工具。我们作为主办方，作为展览公司，是打造桥梁的最重要的一个出发点。
Yeah, so Ferdi, probably you just were not able to understand that, what Darren said. So I asked him about what is what's the positive side about his multi-language aspect, and is that it is that communication is so important here. You need to always come back and ask back what it is. So as he can do that in 4 different languages, it's not only for within China, but as well outside. So this is back to you, Ferdi.
So thank you very much, Darren. It was great to meet you and get that short insight into the business of the fairs. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
So now we are at Hongqi. Hongqi is the best sold premium brand of FAW. First Automotive Work is the second largest Chinese automotive industry group, and it has several joint ventures. The most important joint ventures is VW, but also with Mazda, but also with Toyota. And last year they sold about 1.1 million passenger cars in China. So, Bea, tell us a little bit about Hongqi.
So first, perhaps I show you the logo of Hongqi, which is, you will see there are two Chinese characters on. So Hongqi means red flag, and the red flag, that brand was the first car of First Automotive Works, FAW, which was kind of coming from the dispute between the Soviet Union and China when they started to split up. And Mao Zedong said, well, we can build a car too. Before it was mainly trucks. The Tiefang truck is the main sold truck here, I would say even in China, but at least for FAW. And then Mao Zedong said, well, I want to have a car done. You in Changchun, where this brand is located, build me one. And this is the story, actually, that back in the 50s, there was this brand already. But over the course of time, and of course, being now the number 2 in the market, this brand is revived and now builds really beautiful cars. Shall we have a look at this HS5, the SUV behind me?
So, and from this HS5, they sell about 10,000 cars every month, which is a big deal for a premium brand of Chinese car makers. So if we look at the car, it's very important, and that car, and they produced that car also during the Corona pandemic, and to keep production running, to keep all the things which you need from the components, from the total value chain. It is very important to have support, a digital support in that industry, and therefore it's great to have now in an interview Kathy Mao from IBM, and she will tell us a little bit about the digitalization in China and how it helped to keep the production running, to keep the supply chain running during Corona pandemic.
Why should your business go hybrid? When I'm in a race, I should be focused on taking a corner. But what if I had to run around, worried about engine temperatures, thinking about changing tyres? That's how some businesses manage their clouds. But with a hybrid cloud approach with IBM, you'll have the expertise of a team designing best in-car strategies for your business, the same way a pit crew makes this car hum. So you can focus on, you know, winning.
We are together with Kathy Mao. Kathy runs the automotive business of IBM in China. Kathy, what is IBM's role in the Chinese automotive market?
IBM is playing like technology enabler and also the facilitator, coach for the automotive customers in China, and help them to grow their business and do the transformation to support the business growth in China market.
So how does IBM support Chinese car makers in the digital important transformation process and reinvention under the tough COVID-19 circumstances?
In short, we can say that we are the facilitator, as I mentioned before, like we are the facilitator, right? The technology enabler. Actually, that in short, we can say that we co-create, we co-build, and we cooperate together with our customers to help them work through, surface through the COVID-19, just quite difficult timing to pick up to keep the business growing. Actually, that from the China, this automotive industry, like the Association for Automotive Manufacturer, the association for the organization, that the calculation for last year, for 2020, even under the COVID-19 impact, actually that China market still keeps almost flat. So that's quite I would say that's that's a great success for China automotive markets. The production, the overall production still keeps like 25 million plus, with a very tiny drop. It's only like less than 2% Y-to-Y drop. And for the passenger vehicle part, the sales volume is around 12 million. It's still keeps positive growth, even under the COVID-19 situation. So it's quite encouraging. The China market is quite positive, growing.
It's very interesting to see how what you did to run to keep running the supply chain in China in the automotive industry. So give us some ideas about your general IBM strategy regarding the Chinese market and the Chinese automotive industry.
Okay, yeah, we're talking about the China market. Actually, it's quite interesting, because that's the new way to work, right? Especially under the COVID-19 environment. I think the artificial intelligence is one of the very useful tools to support the auto OEMs to run their business, right? And also that there's a lot of this, the market itself, the consumers in China is more willing to embrace and willing to take the, to try the new technology and try the new things. The digital maturity in China, I think it's over like 60%, the urban people, that they are quite used to have the digital usage, because by leveraging social media, the internet connection, all these things, like the multi-devices, right? The data sharing, that they are quite used to use the digital tools or the digital devices to in their daily life, actually. So, and also for the vehicle experience, it's all more focusing on how that they can have the digital capabilities in the vehicle, like the configuring, hearing, learning, just socializing, and also for the driving part. For the personal experience, desire the personalized just the digital service when moving around. They want to gain more information, entertainment, and connected life and marketing, all these things that they want to experience by leveraging their smart vehicle. And also about the mobility experience, people are more desired transportation model for moving around, not just only just own the car, but also just leveraging the mobility services. So all these are the drivers to make the market, it's really quite warm. So that's why that, and IBM is like the technology enabler to facilitate our customers to be more customer centric. That's why that we are supporting our customer to do the new experience of facing their customers, and the new way of working, like the remote. A lot of things are working under remote areas, and not just people doesn't need actually go to the office, but they can do their work, a lot of work that they can do remotely. Right, they can do a lot of just meetings and conference that they can leverage by the internet. So that's also a lot of things like artificial intelligence also support this, can make it more possible.
Yeah, so a very comprehensive task. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much to have you as our guest. Thanks.
Thanks.
So I'm standing here aside the HS9, which is a really, really big SUV. I would say this is pretty much the government car. There is as well a limousine available. You see, I mean, I'm 163. This is really big. But I think over the show we have today, we have already talked a lot. We will tomorrow continue because that was only a short glimpse. So, Ferry, any words from you? And from my side, thank you everybody for joining, and I hope to see you tomorrow.
So thanks, Bea. It was great to have you with us and showed us all the new things at the Shanghai Auto Show. Let's see and continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be with ZF, we will be with Smart, with SVOLT, with NIO, with Geely. So it will be an interesting day tomorrow. We will look forward to see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thanks.
拜拜，再见。